Okay, we're getting streaming up. I think we are streaming successfully. Let me just double check. All right, looks like we are. We're gonna get this party started. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 10K Project. I'm just giving y'all all kind of treats this week. We went live with a wonderful treat yesterday, and we are going to do the same thing this evening. I have with us Antonio Thornton with Nandi's List. You guys may remember Antonio from last week. Last Monday, Antonio came and talked to us about Nandi's List, but he was talking to us last week about it from a consumer standpoint. And so wonderful, wonderful product and service that he's providing. He's going to tell you all about that again this evening. But as you guys know, Tuesday is Bet on Black Pitch Night. And one of the things that we learned and we were saving for Tuesday was that Nandi's List is also raising capital. So tonight we will hear from Antonio from an investor standpoint, because those are two completely different conversations, right? And so we're super excited to bring Antonio to the community this evening to talk to us about a wonderful investment opportunity in his company. This is not an investment crowdfunding opportunity, so I want to make that very clear. Here at the 10K Project, we bring all types of deal flow. And so this is not an equity or investment crowdfunding opportunity, but it is still an opportunity to invest in a Black-owned founder and his company. And Antonio will tell you all of the details and the structure of the deal and all of those things. So with that said, sir, welcome back. We are so very excited to have you back. As you know, we
Glad
are
to be here.
Of investors. So anytime the conversation is about investing, we perk up around here. We listen.
Absolutely.
So we are so excited. I'm going to turn it over to you because this is the part of the show where I shut up and I let you do all the talking.
All right. Well, I'm very glad to be back, and I'm going to share my screen here. Let me make sure that's working properly. All right. Can you see that okay?
Yes, sir. Looks good.
All right. Fantastic. Well, I again, thank you so much for having me back, and I am really looking forward to this conversation. And you know, you made a comment a moment ago about this being a different conversation, and yes, I am going to approach it from a different angle, but the premise of it is the same. The premise of it is the exact same in that we are investing in Black businesses. And one of the great things about Nandi's List is that it's not just investing in Nandi's List as a business, but you're investing in Black women businesses as a whole. So it just extends the conversation of what we were talking about last week. So with that, I'll go ahead and jump right on in. So this is the Nandi's List investor presentation. Now, first question most people have is, what is Nandi's List? Well, Nandi's List is the world's largest directory of Black women-owned businesses. We have over 100,000 members since our inception. Our goal is to get to 500,000 by the end of the year. And what we do, we say we fill a need in the marketplace, a need for giving Black women-owned businesses the exposure, the business assistance, and training they need in order to build a viable business. So we are currently seeking early stage backers to fuel our rapid growth and getting Nandi's List to the world as quickly as humanly possible. And we are doing that by providing you a viable 6-month ROI. So why does Nandi's List even exist? Well, years ago, in response to protests and social unrest around the country, corporations vowed to donate money and give money to Black women businesses, but they claimed they couldn't find them. And there were reports that said that there was as much as $200 million went unallocated because of these funds that they just could not, when they said they couldn't find these businesses. And it really got me thinking about, well, you know, how would you go about finding Black women businesses? And it kind of started me down this path of searching. And this is one of the studies that you guys have probably seen to some degree. This was done by JP Morgan Chase and American Express. It says that Black women are the fastest growing segment of new businesses in the country. But what most people don't know about that statistic is what the end of that report says, is that they are the least earning in revenue by far. Black women-owned businesses earn a meager $24,000 per year on average, compared to $143,000 of all other ethnicities. That's a 6x difference, guys, if you're doing the math. So that's a problem. And that's really where this entire process got started. The question that got me asking is why? Why is this the case? And what I found after doing my own research is that Black women businesses struggle because of the lack of visibility, not because of the lack of ability. And think about it. How would you find a Black woman-owned business? It's almost like, where's Waldo? Like if you were looking for a fitness trainer, a Black woman fitness trainer in Orlando, a flower shop in Charlotte, a yoga instructor in Las Vegas, how would you go about actually doing that search? And that's where we started finding there's a bunch of little bitty directories around the country, and I'll tell you why they're problematic a little bit later in the presentation. And here's the thing. The question that was asked to me a few weeks ago, and I actually recently added this slide to the investor pitch, is that, are people actually searching for Black women businesses? And the overwhelming answer is yes, absolutely. And it's more than who you think. It's just not us in the community. There are people outside the community actually searching for Black women-owned businesses in various capacities, whether it be for contractual purposes, whether it be for filling in voids in what their business model is. But we've had several scenarios where people just said, I want to support a Black woman business. Where can I find one? So these are real people searching for Black women-owned businesses, and they're not able to find them easily. Now, that report also goes on to say this, that Black women are positioned to play an increasingly visible and important role in the United States' future like never before. And this is the important piece here. It says these conscious efforts require the government and private sector to uncover and address the gaps and biases in entrepreneurial ecosystems. Now, if you're anything like me, you don't typically sit around and wait for the government to save you. That typically does not work for us. So this is where Nandi's List comes into the equation, is that we become the part of what actually brings forward the resources for these businesses to thrive. And this is our goal. We directly address the issue with these Black women businesses. Our mission is to empower 1 million Black women businesses to earn at least $100,000 per year, earning $100 billion in global revenue. Now, this number is important, not just because of the 100 billion, but the number that we really want to look at here is the $100,000 per year. As I mentioned earlier, the average Black woman-owned business brings in about $24,000 a year. That is right above the poverty line, right? So here's what you want to take into consideration with that. When you're looking at that number, you either have a couple of different scenarios. You either have a business that's just not working, or you've got someone's running a business and also trying to balance that with a full-time job, a family, and all of those things. And that ends up lowering quality of life. But in this scenario, having a business that's at least doing $100,000 a year gives someone an opportunity to have a viable living. Now, you're not going to be balling, flying all over the world, but you have a viable lifestyle. So some ask, do people even still use directories? It's 2023. Do they even still use directories? Well, the answer is a resounding yes. Directories are responsible for 700 million visitors per month. When you look at Yelp, Craigslist, Angie's List, Foursquare, et cetera, these directories drive traffic. And here's the interesting and thing that most people don't think about with directories is that directories attract buyers, not browsers. That's important because most people like to look to social media. Well, I'll just use social media to build my business. The challenge with social media is that social isn't searchable. Just like I showed on the slide earlier, people go into groups and ask around and try to find things, and maybe they find it and maybe they don't. But when you go to a directory, you're looking for a very specific thing to buy. You're not going there to look for a funny cat video or to watch sports clips or to get caught up with your friends. People go to directories to actually buy. And this is one of the things that we really love to talk about is this. The largest e-com site in the world, Amazon.com, is a directory. When you look at what Amazon.com is, it has the categories, the subcategories, search, listing, reviews, ratings. It is a directory. In essence, it is a directory. And you don't go to Amazon again to search for cat videos. You go there to look for a product that you're looking to buy. What are some of the other directories out there? And most people don't look at them as directories, but they are. Airbnb, Zillow, Instacart, Eventbrite, Groupon, Expedia, Etsy. These are all directories that we're familiar with. We just don't register. They just don't register in our minds as directories. So when we're thinking about, do people use directories? Absolutely, positively, people use directories every day. So why would you consider investing in a directory? The first reason is that directories provide they're extremely high profit margin. Directories run at about 85% profit margin, mainly because of the low cost of operation. The content is user generated. So when you're talking about UGC, user generated content, this cuts down on the expenditures of running a business like a directory. Another reason is because of the longevity. Businesses who join a directory tend to stay there long term. Directories are what are called authority sites in the search engines. So these authority sites, they're there for a long time, and that's where the businesses get their value. And experts around the world agree, no matter whatever new technology comes out and the latest and greatest thing, directories still remain one of the most important building blocks of a business's online foundation. And when you think about it, like a directory like Yelp, most people wouldn't even consider going to a restaurant if they didn't have a Yelp rating. And that's why and how directories is such a huge part of our lives. And the numbers, the numbers prove themselves. Yelp last year, $1.03 billion. Angie's List, $1.6 billion. Craigslist, $1.8 billion. So these numbers speak for themselves when you're talking about a viable business. And this is one of the things that I love and honestly striving for. Angie's List went from $500 million to $1.6 billion after a purchase that happened in 2017. IAC purchased Angie's List for $500 million and grew it to $1.6 billion in 4 years with the freemium model, which is the same model that we're using. So when you're talking about a purchase of that size, again, is a directory a viable opportunity? IAC seemed to think so with their bet with Angie's List, and it proved to be worthwhile with the growth that they experienced. One of the other things about directories is that directories you'll find has a very, very high revenue per employee. And this blew me away when I found this out, that Craigslist outperforms Facebook and Google for revenue per employee at $1.8 million per employee. That is huge when you're thinking about a viable business to invest in. Now, who are our competition? Well, we like to say that we really don't have any competition, not from a place of arrogance or anything of that nature, because we absolutely positively acknowledge there's about 21 to 23, depending on the day. Some of them kind of come and go. But there's several other directories out there who serve and support Black women-owned businesses. So because their mission is to support Black women-owned businesses, our mission is to support Black women-owned businesses, we don't see them as competition, as more so collaborators than anything else. But the challenge with a lot of them is the size of those directories, like buyfromablackwoman.org, 174 members, Black Female Therapist, 334 members, 84 members in the Georgia Black Women Association for Attorneys. Now, here's the challenge with them and why they don't tend to work. With so few members, when someone goes to the site, they can't really find what they're looking for. And when they can't find what they're looking for, they don't come back. And when they don't come back, the members end up getting no value, and then the site ends up imploding. So you have a directory who has 100 members, but no actual traffic, no transactions actually being done. And that's where we differentiated ourselves. Our primary differentiator is our size. We launched with 100,000 members. And because of that, we are 40,000 times larger than the largest directory out there. We also differentiate ourselves because we have several profit streams of membership, advertising, affiliate sales, business services, marketplace partnerships, and live events. And you'll see why that's so important in just a moment, particularly as it relates to which type of business you want to find yourself investing in. Other things that differentiates us, we have a training portal. We have our founding 50 members, which I'll speak about in just a moment. We also offer scholarships for young women who are going into business-related majors. We also provide help and assistance for women in transitions who want to use entrepreneurship as a part of their next step. And then we also feel a real need and desire. So our business model. Our business model is what we call the freemium plus. Freemium is where a business offers a free service and then offers a paid service on top of that to get additional or premium features. So you're familiar with Evernote, Dropbox, Pandora, LinkedIn, Skype, Spotify. They've all built their businesses with this exact same freemium model. And having 100,000 members at launch creates an immediate revenue for us. Now, and again, as I mentioned, we have several other revenue streams to further monetize the site, and you'll see why this is so powerful in just a moment. And this is our real secret. This is our secret right here. We, just to be honest with you, we took a page out of the book of Tesla, build down to scale up. And here's what I mean by that. If you guys are familiar with the Tesla business model, is that they started out with a very high-end vehicle. And they sold those high-end vehicles in order to generate revenue to build more affordable vehicles. And then they use those vehicles to sell even more affordable vehicles. And as they did that, they grew the revenue instead of trying to go the opposite way around. And we've done the exact same thing. We've started out with our founding 50 membership. We've moved to our lifetime deals for our premium membership. And then we will then focus on selling our lower tier memberships. Now, I want to just pause for just a moment and tell you why that's so important. Most directories, when they start, they build a directory and then they go find people and say, hey, we've got this awesome directory. Will you join our directory? And people will say, well, sure, I'll join your directory. And then they'll get $10 a month or $20 a month. Then they'll go to another person and say, hey, will you join our directory? Then you got another $20 a month. So you got a $20 a month, and $20 a month, and $20 a month, $20 a month. The next thing you know, you've got 100 members, but you've got $2,000 a month business, which is not enough to build a business on. And what ends up happening is that again, the directory ends up imploding because even though you're only making $2,000 a month, you've got to support 100 people. And most people who go into building a directory just don't have the infrastructure to do that. So instead of going that route, we, like I said, we took a page out of the book of Tesla, and we sold our higher tier memberships, which is our founding 50 memberships. We started our founding 50 memberships, and we grew it to right now. We're selling the founding 50 memberships at $10,000. But initially we sold them at $3K, and then we sold them at $5K. And now we're selling our founding 50 memberships at $10,000 each. So when you look at that business model, we don't need to sell a whole lot of people to start bringing revenue in the door. And what this does for us is that it fuels our revenue while we're building that MRR. And this is where most directories fail, is because that MRR never gets up high enough for them to sustain a viable business. But when you're selling your memberships from $3,000 to $10,000, this is where this comes in. So this is how we make our money with this model. We also have other higher tier things like our lifetime deal for our membership that we don't publicly offer that. We only offer that in unique environments. We have a lifetime deal for our premium membership. We also sell newsletter ads, et cetera. And we have, again, many other ways to generate revenue from the directory itself. And let me come back, and I'll come back to the numbers here in just a moment. The great thing about the way we're building this is that we become profitable from day one. When you have 100,000 members in your directory, you have a very unique thing in that you have an asset. So even if we never, ever sold a membership, a single membership, even if we left the directory as a free membership, that asset gives us an opportunity to utilize in many, many different ways to monetize. Again, advertising on the site. It gives us opportunity to advertise in newsletters. It gives us advertising to get sponsorships, grants, and all other types of things, because we've got a viable asset that can generate revenue for us even without the members paying a single dime. So when you think about Hotmail, for example, if you guys remember that, if you're old enough to remember that, I might be aging myself, but Hotmail did not charge a single dime to their members. Microsoft ended up buying Hotmail for $400 million. $400 million. Why? It was because they wanted the list. They wanted the list because that list is valuable. So the way Hotmail made their money is through advertising, simple, plain and simple. So again, when we look at the business models that work, we're just borrowing those exact same models. So let's look at some numbers. Revenue in January, 36K. Operations were running at about 18K, and we left us a profit of $18,000. Now, our operations total in January and February were much, much higher than they typically are, than our business model dictates. And the reason why is because we had an issue, and I always like to be completely transparent about things like this. We did have an issue with our database at the end of January. So we had to bring in some developers. We had to bring in a lot of additional people. So our payroll was about 5 times higher than it normally is. We had some additional operating costs that were way higher than they normally are. But even with the debacle of our database, we were still able to bring in $18,000. February, and also, mind you, you'll notice that, the dip in revenue in February as well. And again, I say this from a place of transparency. Yes, it would be lovely if we were to show month over month, our revenue was increasing. But the reality of it is that when we had the issue that we had in January, we were all hands on deck fixing the database, fixing the directory. So I did not feel comfortable continuing to promote when the foundation of our business was not functioning like it should have been, just from a place of integrity. So we slowed down and just kind of really stopped promoting in February. So that's why you see the dip that you do. So with the and here's the beauty of it. I go back to saying, with the increased expenditure that we had and the dip in revenue, we were still profitable. We were still profitable. And that's why this business model is so fantastic. And I just want to say this too. If you're sitting at home contemplating, man, I wish I'd like to start a business, I just don't know what it is. Start a directory. Just start a directory. Very, very profitable. Well, anyways, you can see March, we got back on track, 34K in March, 9K. And you notice, again, the decrease in operations costs as well. And then we can provide all of this information for you guys who want to take the next step with us. But as you saw, the revenue and our profits jumped up in March, April 37, 7K in operations and 30K in profit. And this is what, we're projecting. And I also wanted to make mention to this as well, because this is one of the line items that you'll see in our finance, in our reports, is that we've spent $135 on advertising in total. And literally the $135, let me tell you why that's so significant, first of all, is the $135 was really just an experiment. It was an experiment that we were doing with an influencer to get some traction on our social medias. And it definitely paid off. It definitely paid off because we built this business, again, very differently. Most people, build the thing and then go get the customers. We got the customers and then built the thing. And I say that for this reason. We monetize internally. Like that's our business model. We already have our audience in the directory itself. So we don't have to go out and get anybody at this point. So we don't have to advertise in the general way that most people advertise, because we're selling internally. And like I said, that $135 was just an experiment, just to see how people would respond to this directory publicly, and it paid off. But the point is that when you're looking at our line items, advertising isn't even considered until we talk about this particular investment. So the revenue we're expecting to close out May with is about 47K. Operations total at about 6,500. Profit, we see it about 40K. Now, the June numbers that you see, and you see the asterisk there, we're going to take about $15,000 of the investments that we've already brought in. We've already brought in about $92,000 so far, but we're going to take about $15,000 of that and actually put it into our influencer campaign. So that $135 was a teeny tiny test that we wanted to see what would happen if we went to an influencer and paid them to talk about Nandi's List. So we wanted to see what we would get from that. And as you'll see, I'll show you some numbers of what we've compiled over the past several months with the influencers. But what we're expecting is that is going to significantly increase our revenue to 60K, 45 in July, which we should be able to see a profit of about $74,000. And this is where we want to utilize this revenue. We have compiled a list of 425 bloggers, 350 influencers, 250 Black politicians, and 103 which are Black women, 91 celebrities. And that 91 celebrities are people that we've actually already reached out to, but we have a list of 1,465, and then 73 radio personalities that we've already reached. So we're going to be doing a full blitz for the next several months. And that's what we're utilizing this revenue for. Now, why is that important? Is that we're not utilizing the investment for ideation. We're not utilizing the investment for development. And that's important because when you're looking at an investment, and Tawana said something very powerful a while back. She says, when you're looking at investing in anything, you want to look at, out of 10 things you invest in, there's probably going to be one thing that might be the unicorn. 2 or 3 might give you some decent returns, and the others are probably going to be duds. Now, why is that the case? Well, a lot of times people go into things with these ideas of, we're going to make so much money, we're going to do this, we're going to build this thing, and we're going to build that thing, et cetera, et cetera. Well, like I said, we've already built the thing. We've already built the thing. So you're not investing in an idea of, hey, maybe people will join this directory. Well, they're already joining the directory. So your investment looks very different when you're looking at what you want to invest in, because again, what you're investing in for us is speed. That's really what it is. You're investing in speed. And I have to just say this for what it is. We don't need the money. We don't need it because we're already profitable. What we want to do is get to our numbers very quickly. And that's what the investment does. Now, and I'll just share this. I don't usually tell a lot of people this, but I'll just share this. My goal is to be able to get this to get this business to about, $3.5 to maybe $5 million a year in the next 3 to 5 years, and then sell it to a Microsoft, to a LinkedIn for $65 to $75 million. That's what I'm looking to do. So, and I say that for this reason. My initial idea about Nandi's List was to fund it myself, because I've been in marketing I've been in business for 30 years, and I've been doing this a long time. So I've got the money to support something like this. But I said, well, you know what? I could do this in 10 years. I could do it in 5. And that's where the idea of the investment came in. I said, well, let's first of all, there was a couple of things I decided to do. One, I didn't want to go after, $500,000 million initially. What I wanted to do was to see what occurred with about $150,000, and what we're seeing already, we're getting amazing results from. But what that does is that just pours like fuel on our fire. It literally just pours fuel on our fire, and it speeds up our process of being able to get to the point of being able to exit Nandi's List sooner rather than later. So I got off on a little tangent, but I wanted to communicate that because I do want you to understand my mindset and how I look at Nandi's List, and what my future plans are for it, and why this investment is what it is at this time. So here are the numbers that you guys probably care about, right? So what are we offering? Nandi's List is offering a fixed 6-month investment of $30K ROI. Now, when we initially opened this for investing, we had a minimum of $3K, but I had a conversation with Tawana, and she says, I would really love for you to look at, offering an additional, just offering additional opportunities for those who don't have the $3K to just go throw into the business. And honestly, initially I was like, okay. And the reason why is because we didn't want a bunch of individual investors coming in that way. But the thing is that, which made sense, being that 10K Project is a community versus just going after a bunch of random people. So that's why we chose to open it up, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. But back to the investment, we're offering a fixed 30% over 6 months. And we're also offering a collateral on our cash flow. Because of the fact that we are as profitable as we are, we're able to offer our cash flow as a collateral, which is a very unique opportunity for most investors. But and it's just very simple numbers. You're able to come in at 10K, you're earning 30%. 6 months later, 13K. There are just not many other short-term investments that offer these types of numbers. You might luck out with some stock, but on average, stocks are going to get you about 13.8%, real estate about 8%, T-bills about 4.5%. Maybe you find a high yield savings account that can get you 3.75 in a year. And who knows where crypto is. One day you're crypto millionaire, and the next day you're crypto thousandaire. But we are offering a solid 30% over 6 months. So, and just for clarity, as Tawana mentioned at the very beginning, this is not an equity deal. Again, it's a fixed ROI. So for those of you who are looking for a shorter term investment, who want to be able to see a really good return within a short period of time, this may be a better opportunity for you. And I know the question will come up as well. Are you ever going to offer equity in Nandi's List? Yes, I will. We will offer equity in Nandi's List, but that'll probably happen in 2024. And we are also going to offer preference to those of you, for those who have invested in Nandi's list in advance. So this is one of the things, again, that I really love to just show, being profitable for month one. This is just one of the things that a lot of people just can't say about their businesses because of how we chose to build this thing. Being profitable for month one is really powerful for a business like ours. So as I'm wrapping up here, wanted to just make mention to this. You are making two investments today. One, yes, you're investing in yourself and your family to get a positive return on investment in 6 months. But as I mentioned earlier, as an extension of that, you're not just investing in Nandi's list where we build a big business and then we pay you back money and you're happy, but we are making a global change in the economy for Black people, Black women in particular. So you're giving Black women a viable business by investing in Nandi's list, because our goal is to do something about that 24K per year number. All right, and I'll show this here. Let me show this here. I don't know if you guys can hear this. Let me
Shirley Ralph, that's the customer console.
It's Mercedes C. Young from Tyrone for Love.
This is the angel, the lady of dancehall, our commitment to uplifting and empowering Black women entrepreneurs is inspiring. You know, I like that.
Listen, as a Black woman entrepreneur, firsthand the challenges that come with running a business, and I support
What you guys are doing, supporting Black women in business and business owners, is making a big difference in so many lives. You are making a difference.
Nandi's list. You are making a difference.
Keep spreading the love and keep supporting. Keep up the fantastic work. Keep up the good work. Mwah. God bless.
and see, again, very few people you talk to about, hey, you know, we're supporting Black women businesses, and they're saying, oh, you know what? Oh, that stinks. I don't want to have anything to do with that. So that's the great thing about what we're doing, is that we're getting buy-in across the board from people all over in many different walks of life. So I always like to pause before I like to open up for questions, but I would like to kind of go over just a couple of frequently asked questions that we've had in the past. So and then this may address some of the questions that you guys have, and then we'll open up for Q&A. So the first question we get is the site live? Yes, absolutely. The site is live. You can go to nandislist.com and you can do pretty much any search you want. Now, one thing about this, and I didn't mention this before because we're going to be launching this very soon. We are going to be one of the only directories out here offering AI in our directory to help our customers, our members, to actually get more customers. My developer actually sent me an email a little bit earlier today about some changes that they're making right now, and I'm just really excited to see what comes out of what they're doing. They're making changes all the time with me, but also it's exciting because we're implementing and we're utilizing technology in a very different way. So yes, with that being said, yes, the site is live. Next question that we typically get is who's behind Nandi's list. My business partner, Naima Akita, is head of operations. She is, a beast when it comes to operations. She's worked at General Electric. She's also worked at the U.S. Patent Trademark Office and Weyerhaeuser as well, which is one of the largest timber companies in the country. Myself, Antonio Thornton, I'm head of strategy and marketing. I've built several 6- and 7-figure businesses. I've worked with Robert Kiyosaki, Les Brown, Bob Proctor, Bob Doyle, New York Times bestselling author, Ron Douglas. I've been doing this for quite some time, and I guess I could consider me a serial entrepreneur for all practical purposes. But this is what I like to consider my legacy project. This is the thing that I would love to leave behind, if you will, to make a difference in the world. And this is what we like to call our secret weapon. We, as I mentioned about our Founding 50 membership, this is a group of women who are committed to the growth of Nandi's list and the supporting of Black women businesses as a whole. And what they've done is they've with the commitment that they've had, they've said, you know what, we want to be a part of this movement, and they've become founding 50 members of Nandi's list. And their commitment is not just financial, but it's also through their knowledge, their skills, their resources, et cetera, that they're bringing to the table for Nandi's list. And we like to kind of call it a quasi board of advisors and ambassadors. And these aren't just people who just said, hey, you know, here's some money. Again, these are women who are really doing some amazing things out here in the world, like Danielle Leslie, for example, CEO of Course from Scratch, $12 million in revenue in 2022. We have also Pam Obasa. Pam is out of the UK. She's the founder of The Lucrative Lady, and she runs a 7-figure business in the UK. And I got to say something to you. It's already challenging enough to get to 7 figures. But if you know anything about living in the UK as a Black woman, you will know that this is a tremendous feat for her to have hit 7 figures as a Black woman in the United Kingdom. I can't emphasize this enough. We hear this a lot of times here in the States. Oh, this person hit 7 figures, this person hit 7 figures. And yes, it's challenging in the States, but when you talk about what's going on over there, it's just an incredible feat that she's accomplished. Dr. Rashida Mendez, she is the CEO of Funded First. She's responsible for $2 billion in funding. She's worked with New York Life, JP Morgan Chase, and the White House. Yes, that White House. Also, Dr. Frantonia Pollins, CEO of Frantonia Pollins International, TEDx speaker, multi-published author. Again, one of our founding 50 members who believes in this mission enough to say, I want to be involved. And this next founding 50 member is someone that you guys may be familiar with. I'm not quite sure. You might be familiar with this amazing rock star right here, Ms. Tawana Rivers. She is the COO of the 10K Project, champion for building Black wealth, connecting Black investors and Black businesses. And this is a significant thing that I want you guys to understand. Tawana saw what we were doing and again said, I want to be a part of that in a significant way, significant enough to become a part of our founding 50 membership. And we so are happy to have you and honored to have you a part of our founding 50 membership. So much love to you for that. And again, thank you for becoming a part of this incredible mission. So some strategic partnerships that we have right now, we've forged a deal with Keep, formerly Infusionsoft, which is one of the largest business automation tools out there. And we actually have a HubSpot pending deal right now as well. And I'll just tell a really quick story here. When we initially approached HubSpot, I said, hey, you guys interested in supporting this? And I was like, no, we're not interested. I would say, wait a minute. Can I get that in writing that you're not willing to support 100,000 Black women business owners? Oh, no. My bad. So they changed their tune real quickly, really quickly. So we've got them in contact. Matter of fact, the person who's head of outreach reached out to us almost immediately after that email. And we are actually in conversation right now with Spotify as well, which is really cool because they have, I think, $100 million that they've allocated for Black creators in particular. So with that, let me see here. Just a couple last quick things. One of the questions that we do also get as well is how did we compile the list? I will tell you this, it was absolutely bonkers. That's really the scientific term for it. It was bonkers. But what we did was we used some AI, but we did this primarily by hand. And yes, we had 138 people on this project over the course of this project. And the reason why we had to do this by hand is because we found that, guess what, guys? AI doesn't know what Black women look like. Go figure. So we had to actually do a lot of this by hand. Our primary sources were open and available. And I always have to say this, everything that we got was publicly available. We didn't go in, doing any hacking or any of that data scraping, all that stuff. We got our list from Facebook groups, small directories, and publicly available lists as well. And the last question that we typically get is, who is Nandi? It's not, my daughter, it's not my mom. We named Nandi after Queen Nandi, which is Shaka Zulu's mother, if you guys are familiar. One of the reasons why we chose Nandi is because her journey parallels that of what most Black women have gone through, is pretty much having to be that rock, having to be that person to make it all happen. She was shunned and ostracized from her community with a child. So as a single mother, and this is the thing, again, I get goosebumps every time I think about this. As a single mother, she bore and raised one of the most powerful kings Africa has ever seen, Shaka Zulu. So my heart goes out, and my love goes out to you, the Black woman, for being resilient, for being strong, for being beautiful in the way that you are. And we believe that Nandi, Queen Nandi, is a perfect example of who you show up as in this world. So that's it for now. If I'm open to taking any questions. I know I went a little bit long there, but I wanted to make sure that the thing here, but definitely more than happy.
Wonderful.
You guys.
Thank you so much, Antonio. If you stop sharing, we've got some questions in the Q&A.
Absolutely.
And I will read those, but I want to ask a couple of questions for clarity as well. So we saw the slide with the typical investment amount, right? Between 3 and 20K, I think is what that typical amount was.
Yes.
But you talked about doing something special for the 10K project community, being able to bring them in at a lower investment amount. Can you talk about that a little bit? What that minimum would be for the 10K project?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll just share this real quickly. And okay, invest. And actually I would love to walk through this as well.
Absolutely.
Give me just a moment. Because I want to make sure that everyone's clear on what this is, because I know you guys typically do like the crowdfunding sites and the investment sites, but we're doing something a little bit different with this project. So if you go to nandislist.com/10K invest, and I'm going to pull that up on the screen as
and Talisha, if you can put that in the chat, that would be great, my dear. Thank you.
Awesome. So can you see my new screen here, the investment details?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Yeah. So what we're open to right now is a minimum investment of $500. So for those of you who have opportunity for you, again, it is a 6-month fixed 30%. And I just have to be very clear. Again, there is no partnership. There's no equity in this particular deal. We will be opening that up probably again, like I said, next year. So with that, these are the numbers that we're looking at right now. Excuse me. We're willing, like I said, is willing to take as little as $500, and as much as 50,000. That would be lovely as well. So with that, we here that says get started investment agreement document. If you click that, it's going to take you to a page that looks like this. This is our digital signing document, is signwell.com. So what you would do is you would put your information here. You would put big investor. You put big investor here, and I'll just put bi@nandislist.com. And then when you click continue, it's going to take you to the document that we use. And it's very simple digital signing document. You got the date, your name, et cetera. The one portion that I want to just really bring to your is right here is the investment amount. You get the opportunity to type in how much you want to invest here. So if you want to invest $5,000, you just put $5,000 here. And then what we ask that you do also is you type out the words just for the purposes of making sure that everybody's covered. I don't want to, I don't want any accidental zeros, and we're thinking, hey, $50,000, let's go. We don't want those lovely accidents. But so if you would just type out 5,000 there, and then you can go from there. And then you've got initials here that just shows that this is what you want to invest. And then you've got the signature portion at the bottom. So again, it's a very simple process. I wanted to try to keep it as simple as possible so that there's not a bunch of back and forth, because usually, we don't do, or I've not done this presentation in a group environment. It's always been one-on-one investment, and we would just send out the document to people. But for those of you who are here, we created this flow, if you will, for the 10K project group. So I know that was a long answer to your question.
It was a perfect answer, so it was perfect. And I love that you took the time to create a process that was going to be nice and streamlined and very easy for the community to navigate. So thank you very much for that.
Absolutely. Oh, and by the way, when you fill this out, you will get a copy of it emailed to you when it's executed. So just let you guys know, it'll come right over to you. And then, last part, very important. Sorry about that. Down here, we have the ways that you can actually execute your investment. Our preference is WISE. We have had several international investors. WISE is literally just a bank wire. It's just 1,000 times cheaper. So if you have a WISE account, you can use Antonio at nandislist.com. If you want to do credit card, there's a link that you can click there as well, and then put in the amount. Matter of fact, I'll just click it just so you can see it and kind of go through the process. So there is no question.
So go back, because we're on your ready to get started slides. Is what we see.
Wow. Let me go back. There we go. Here we are.
There we go.
All right. So yeah, down here we have several different ways you can use WISE, which is a wire transfer. It's both domestic and international. And just as a side note, if you use WISE, it's fantastic. It saves a whole lot on transferring monies back and forth. So we have credit card payment here. If you want to use a credit card for this investment here, the minimum that you'll be able to put in is $500. But if you wanted to come in and put in 5,000, you can do that as well. And you can use Google Pay credit card or the PayPal, whichever one you choose. And also lastly, or if you choose, we have had people to Zelle their bank accounts as well, if that works for you. For those of you more comfortable with the direct wire, here's the information here, but we will provide the account number over the phone or email because this is a public page and we just don't want that hanging out there like that. So there we go. And now I will shut up. How about that?
Well, you won't shut up just quite, because now they have questions that you get to answer directly.
Absolutely.
So we put the link in this link in the chat, so you can stop sharing, Antonio, so we can get wider on the screen so they can see our lovely faces. And let's start with these questions. So you kind of talked about this a little bit, but let's take a deeper dive. So Anonymous says, how will the introduction of AI, specifically ChatGPT, change the face of your business? Does ChatGPT will allow the search of Black-owned, women-owned businesses for free?
What was that last statement?
That ChatGPT will allow for you to search currently Black-owned, women-owned businesses for free. So I think Anonymous's question is, why, if someone could go to ChatGPT, why would they come to the directory to find these businesses?
One, I love this question, and there's a few answers to it. One, ChatGPT is racist. I joke, but I kind of don't joke. But it's been proven that ChatGPT has its own biases built in, and secondly, ChatGPT does not search the internet. They have a new trial that they're testing in beta that's browse, but it does not work properly yet. And then thirdly is that currently ChatGPT is only current up to 2021, September 2021. So for all the businesses that started over the pandemic, they won't show up. They won't show up in ChatGPT at all. And again, I think that's a fantastic question, because we're utilizing artificial intelligence through an API in a very different way. It's not necessarily just specifically for search. It's actually to help find the best fit for certain searches. So, for example, if you were looking for a real estate agent, you might get a list of real estate agents and you won't know who's the best. There's certain criteria that we're putting in our database in order to help find the best matches for almost every service that could be out there, particularly services like real estate that are where you are significantly involved with the business. Because when you're buying a home, you're married to your real estate agent for those couple of months, so you want to make sure that you've got the right person in place. And that's a part of what we're going to be putting in the API. But that's a fantastic question. It is an absolute fantastic question. It's just that ChatGPT has not caught up yet to real-time data. And again, like I said, the reality of it is biased. It is just like most things. Like if you look at any of the AI that's created, the AI art, it has a challenging time creating Black people. It just does. And it's not because of it's inherently racist. It's because this technology was created by white people. And they don't think about Black people as at the top of their mind. We're not top of mind for white people. So when they create technologies, they're not creating it for us. They're not creating it to keep us away from it either, not all times, but it's definitely not created for us. So again, a great question, but it's just that the technology is just not there and available yet to provide real value in that way.
Yeah, the other thing I want to add, you talked about when you talked about your streams of revenue with Nandi's List, you talked about live events. So it made me think of the experience that comes along with being a participant in the directory. You don't get that from asking the internet for a list, right? You don't get access to that experience to those events as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and when we start our live events, they're probably going to be August. That's what we're looking at now. I'm pushing for August. But how we're doing this is that we're doing live events in the cities of our founding 50 members. So they're going to be the ones who are doing the presentations at those live events. So yes, those types of things are not going to be experienced offline for sure. Or online rather.
Very good. So Anonymous has another question, and I'm not sure I understand it. So Anonymous, I think we'll explain this a little bit. But Anonymous's statement or question says you invest $500 and you get no return on your investment. So that's definitely not a thing, because that wouldn't be an investment, right?
That wouldn't be an investment at all.
So let's just go over again very clearly the terms, if you will, Antonio, just so that there's no confusion.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a fixed 6-month ROI for 30%. It's a fixed 6-month I for 30%. When you use the term no, if you're meaning no as in none, that's inaccurate. It's when you're looking at an investment at that time, at that turnaround. What's the math on that? Is that $150?
It is indeed. I was going to say, let's just break this down very simply. If I give you $500 today, right? Mm-hmm. You're going to give me a cheeseburger on Wednesday, and then you're going to give me $150 extra.
Right. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And
50 in return for the $500 I loaned you today, because essentially it is a debt investment, right?
Yeah,
absolutely. I'm loaning you money today for a return on that investment in 6 months. So at the end of the 6 months, using this example, someone would invest a minimum of $500. If that was the amount you invested, you would get $650 back in 6 months. That would be your $5 plus the 30% ROI, which is that extra 150. I just want to make sure our numbers are very clear, and obviously you'll change those numbers based on whatever your investment is.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, so Anonymous, I hope that was clear. If not, please add, put another question in, because we don't want anyone to walk away not clear, right?
Yeah,
On
yeah.
how this all works.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And again, you're not typically going to find a return of this nature at particularly even at that amount as well in that type of time frame. Because even if you were to invest, there's not many real estate. I don't know. There's many opportunities to invest in real estate at $500 or anything that nature for $500 to be able to get $150 ROI in 6 months, and it's practically guaranteed, because again we're even holding our cash flow as collateral as well, which is we're open to do, and which is in the investment document as well.
Very good. Lorraine asks, is there an app in development?
Yes, there is an app in development, and that's going to be a part of our revamp. We're going to rebuild this directory from ground up, and we're going to build. Right now, we're using an API to connect with our AI. We're going to actually build AI into the directory itself. So the directory is going to be AI.
You don't want to give away that gem yet. You don't want to give. Don't give it away if you're not ready to give it away, because we are streaming live on Facebook, and
yeah,
we put out black chip clips across all socials. So if you're not ready, don't give it away yet.
Okay, yeah. Let me just say this. I want to give a broad answer to that. We're going to build AI into the directory so that it will actually go out and get customers.
Okay.
Yes. So
we're going to stay tuned on that one. We're going to stay tuned.
Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. But anyway, I'm sorry. I get off track. I get so excited about this stuff. But anyway,
that's perfect.
Yes.
That lets us know that as a founder, you are constantly thinking about how to grow and scale this business. That's your strategy coming out. So that's wonderful to see when a founder is presenting to us. So don't you apologize for that. Yeah.
So the app is going to be an extension of that. That's the thing. So and it was one of the things that we were kind of going back and forth with. Oh, we need an app. We have really good functionality from the phone. So we just said, you know what, with what we know is coming up, let's save the development dollars for particularly when we get that 500K, that 1 million investment in our next round. Let's save those development dollars for that. So with that being said, yes, is the answer.
Wonderful. Bernard has a comment. He said, I owned a business directory in my country in which I live. It did very well years ago. However, I love your idea, but outside of the investment offered, I don't see how it would benefit me as a male business owner if the directory is only for women businesses. It seems to be a great place to advertise on. So do you want to speak about that from the brother's standpoint? Other than Bernard, I got to add one more thing. You get to support Black-owned women business as well. That is the additional benefit that you left out, sir. But I do understand your point as a Black male business owner. You want to talk about that a little bit, Antonio?
Yeah, absolutely. So a few things. Yes, you literally took words right out of my mouth. So thank you. Yes, the concept here is not just about, hey, here's this widget that we have. Invest in this widget because we think this widget is going to do very well. No, this is a movement that we're creating around supporting Black women as a whole. So any involvement on any level is going to directly support Black women businesses, both now and forever. We do see this as being a Craigslist and Angie's List and Amazon.com for Black women. So I say that is in that any involvement you have is going to support not only these Black women, but their families and the community and as a as an entire race, if you want to say that. So there's that. Secondly, you can always advertise on the site. So it's not just for Black women. It's not weird. Oh, you're Black. So you can advertise on the site. You can advertise in the newsletter. There's certain partnerships that we have that we're creating and forging as Nandi's List for both the membership and the actual consumers who are coming to the site. So there are many different ways that you can work with us. You just can't list your business in the directory. If you're not a Black woman, you can't list your business in the directory. A lot of people were asking us, well, what about this? No, if you're not a Black woman, and I have to say, identify as a Black woman, you can't list in the directory. People ask, well, I'm Puerto Rican. Great, I know, I love you. I love my folks, right? But you're not Black. So no, at the end of the day, I mean, we had to draw the line somewhere. And the reason why, because there's a bunch of Black business directories out there. There's a bunch of them. We're focusing on Black women specifically because of that huge gap that Black women are suffering from, 6x difference. That's what we want to be able to directly address with Nandi's List. Great question, and love that you would want to be involved. You got the investment opportunity, but if you see wanting to be more involved, yeah, just reach out to me. There may be some opportunity for you to actually become involved in a different way.
Very good. All right, looks like Anonymous has another question. I want to clarify again, because it does seem to be a little confusion.
Mm-hmm.
So Anonymous is saying, so I can invest $500 and get I think they're saying, and in 6 months get 150. Then if I invest another 500, it starts over for another 6 months. So if you saw on Antonio, when Antonio pulled up the special site for us and you saw the term sheet, it said that he was looking to raise $150,000. He's already raised $92,000 of that, right? So we can do that quick math to see what he has left. So after he raises that $150,000, this round of capital raise for him is going to be over, right? It's going to be over. If you saw his slide on the future goal of the company from a capital raise standpoint, you saw across the top, he talked about doing a Reg A round, maybe a Reg C round, like there were all of those other rounds that he's going to do down the line, right? But this round will end when he raises the $150,000 he needs to launch the marketing campaign that he talked a little bit about and do some other things that he's talked about with the technology, right? And so this opportunity is a one-time opportunity. So you would be, in your example, Anonymous, you would be investing $500, right? In 6 months, you would get $650 back, right? And then your business with Nandi's List from an investor standpoint is done until Antonio and his team raise capital again. And he mentioned that existing investors will kind of have that first seat at the table when he decides to open another round. But we're only talking about a one-time opportunity here. So there wouldn't be in another 6 months, as you stated in your example. So this is a one-time opportunity. The minimum is 500. The ROI is 30%. Okay.
Could not have said it better myself.
One thing we do around here is we educate our people. We don't want anybody to walk away confused, right? I don't want nobody calling you, Antonio, at 1:00 this morning talking about where my 150 at. And I darn sure don't want them calling me. So clarity up front and personal, right? So that everybody walks away in complete understanding. And I appreciate you guys in the community for asking these thorough questions. And if you've got any more, if there's anything that isn't clear, please don't hesitate to put that question there, because I never want you guys to walk away confused by anything we hear here at the 10K.
Absolutely. And that's critically important, Tawana. I'm glad you said that, because even if you guys decided, oh, this is not a good fit for me right now, totally fine, totally understand that. But we definitely want to make sure you understand what we are doing. We understand what we are offering so that you can make the determination of, okay, yes, it does make sense. No, it doesn't. So yeah, absolutely. I'm more than happy to answer any other questions about anything to provide any level of clarity.
Wonderful. Ms. Patrice says, what's the risk involved in the 30% return on 6 months investment? What are the stats for the current listed businesses?
Okay.
So Ms. Patrice, clarify what you mean by stats. So we'll
Yeah.
let him take the first question, and then you clarify what you mean by the stats for the currently listed businesses. Because the businesses that would have come on, right, you've got the founding members that pay a fee. Then you've got those premium members. You got the premium lifetime for the special group. We'll actually talk about that in a minute, because when Antonio was here last week, he gave us a premium lifetime discount. So you've got the revenue coming in for that. So that's how those group of customers pay. And then you've got other directory members that pay other fees. So when we talk about the stats for the current businesses, I want to make sure we're following, because those businesses paid for access to be on the directory. I want to make sure I understand your question about their stats, what you're looking for about them. But your first question is very straightforward. What's the risk involved in the 30% return on 6-month investment? So Antonio, if you want to talk about that and talk about how you put cash flow up as collateral and explain that a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. So with what we're doing, and I'll answer it not necessarily in that exact order, but but I'll make sure to give a full answer to that question. So right now we are already in positive cash flow. Most businesses are losing money from the first several months before they're seeing revenue. But because of the fact that a directory is so profitable, the margins are just so high. And I know this isn't the direct question that was asked, but because our margins are so high is what allows us to even offer 30% on an investment like this in the first place. If we were selling widgets, if we had physical products that we were selling, if we were providing a service, if you will, that needed a whole bunch of stuff and moving parts, cost of goods sold and all that type of stuff, we wouldn't have the margins to be able to pay for something like 30%, because that's insane at the end of the day, right? When you think about that type of investment, but our margins give us that opportunity. So when I think about risks, I think about what's like here and what's possible to come. So, like the question that was asked earlier about, what if I could just use ChatGPT to search instead of your directory? That's a real question. And again, one of the reasons why we are rebuilding this directory with AI in mind. So if someone said, well, hey, you know what? I'm going to build a Black woman-owned business directory using AI right now. That's a risk. That's a risk that we're looking at. There's also the extension of what does come out of ChatGPT, which is why we're trying to get ahead of it. So ChatGPT right now, for the most part, doesn't browse. They just opened up the beta for browsing. And again, doesn't really work. But that's neither here nor there. Will it work eventually? Yes. Will it replace Nandi's list? No. And now, does it provide, or does it create a potential risk for us? Yes, absolutely it does. It absolutely creates a risk for us. Now, the thing though is, and again, why I go back to saying when we look at our risk, we always try to get ahead of those things. But the thing of that is that when I'm looking at the community of what we're doing, the community of it, again, this is not just a widget. Like if I said, hey, you know what? I got these real remotes that fit in your pocket and in your house, right? That's a widget. Widgets are great. Widgets make money, but this is a movement. This is a movement. We're coming together to change the outlook of our people as a whole. So we use that leverage, if you will, as our differentiator. But yes, could someone use AI to potentially come up with a competitive directory? Yeah, that's a risk. That is absolutely a risk. And I got to tell you, like, yeah, go for it. Try it. See what we ran into. But it is a risk. It absolutely positively. That would be what I would say is a risk. Now, I don't understand the second question about.
She clarified it. So she says, how much business are the current members getting from being on Nandi's site? And what impact are businesses seeing from being on the list? So what was the return on the investment for the actual directory members after they joined the movement?
Got it. So that, of course, varies from member to member. With our founding 50 memberships, we actually have everyone's working with me directly in order to get them an ROI. Secondly, there are members right now who are reporting getting clients pretty consistently now on a regular basis. Again, they've got the premium membership. Basic membership, I don't really know, to be quite honest with you. It's the free membership. And those members, they show up wherever they show up in the directory. The premium members are the ones who show up at the top, and that's where the business comes from. And by the way, I did not mention this. I do mention it in the other presentation that I do, but just as I don't usually bring it up in the investment, but we are the only directory that offers an ROI guarantee. So for anyone who does join as a premium member, we guarantee that they'll make at least double what their investment is in the directory itself. So what that looks like for us is you join the directory, you're not getting calls, you're not getting, feedback, you're not getting, business. We're going to take a look at your listing. Oh, here's why you're not getting feedback. You're a massage therapist, and all you have in your, and this is a true story, I'm not going to use the same name, but I'll just tell you, you're a massage therapist and you have in here healing hands. What is healing hands? No one goes to the directory, types in healing hands. Mm-hmm. So now it comes to, so we need to put massage therapist, blah, 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 all your service in there. So now when people are searching for your service, they can actually find you. So those are the things that we do for our premium members. That's what we do for our premium members, is make sure that they are getting an ROI, because like I said, there are dozens of directories out there. We're not the only, we're not the first. We're the largest, but reality of it is that a lot of people don't get real results from directories, but we're guaranteeing results here.
Very good. Thank you. I believe it did. Ms. Patrice, if it did not, please let us know if you need something additional.
Absolutely.
John said, maybe I missed it. How can you guarantee 30% ROI? What if there is enough database corruption or another unforeseen issue?
Yeah, so one, as I mentioned, our cash flow is already there. So we have the cash flow to support that as a collateral, number one. Number two, our profit margins are what allow us to provide 30% ROI. Our profit margins are pretty incredible. Now, that's a good question to ask about if another database corruption happens, but it's also, a good question to ask, well, what if Donald Trump becomes president again, right? So there's a lot of ways that we can look at, the worst case scenarios in the sense of this business. But as I mentioned, even with the database crash, and even with us taking out the time to stop doing the promotion that we were doing, we were still profitable in February. We're still profitable. So not many people can say that, to be quite honest with you, when they have such a huge disruption, as significant of a disruption as we did, and still be profitable. So it's a great question to ask. What if you have another database crash? We have things that will prevent that from happening. For one, it is that the cash flow is there. I mean, it's just that simple. I mean, the cash flow is just there to be able to give those types of numbers.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you for that question, John. Anonymous has a question. How does Nandi's list compare to Angie's list?
Compare?
That's the question. Yes.
Okay. We're the largest Black woman-owned business directory in the world. Angie's list is not. And I don't say that to be flippant or anything of that nature. But if you read the story of Angie's List, like really read the story of Angie's List, and again, I hate to always keep going back to this, but racism. Let's talk to the contractors who were trying to get in Angie's List and couldn't get in. Talk to them. You know what I mean? And again, I'm not trying to be flippant. It just pisses me off that the things that happened to those folks that did. You know, she had this directory and kept people out. That sucks to me, you know. But I digress.
But you answered the question. That is the difference. The difference is her Angie's List focuses on many different benefit demographic from ownership standpoint.
Yes.
And Nandi's List is only focused on Black women-owned businesses.
Right. And yes, that would be the primary differentiator, is that it is solely Black women, and you can find virtually any business you're looking for, anything. And that's the thing that we really want people to get. Even if you're looking for a construction company, if you're looking for a plumber, you know, we want people to get that. You can find these types of businesses at Nandi's List, and you don't have to go to other folks to get what you want. You know, how many times have we heard that story about how quickly our dollar leaves our community?
Yeah, absolutely.
Here's an opportunity to actually do something about that in a significant way. And as our directory gets better and better and better, because again, that's what we're constantly improving. We're constantly working on getting this process together. And I can't wait till we get this AI implemented. It's going to be bonkers. I mean, it is going to be bonkers for a directory itself to go out and get customers back into the directory. That's going to be insane when you see how that stuff works. So what differentiates us is that, you know, that as well is the technology that we're looking to implement to really assist these businesses. I don't know if Angie's List is providing scholarships for young women. I don't know if Angie's List provides help for women in transition. I don't know what Angie's List does on the altruistic side, but again, Nandi's List is not just a widget for us. This is about really making a difference. We even allow qualified nonprofits a free premium membership. Because again, the whole purpose, again, is women-owned nonprofits, just to be clear, women-owned nonprofits. So we're creating a real movement here, not just a thing that makes us a bunch of money.
Right. So Anonymous says, what is the cost to get into the directory? So I'm glad you asked that, because I was going to touch on that next. So when Antonio was here last week talking to us about Nandi's List from a consumer standpoint, he extended what I thought was an amazing offer to us, a lifetime membership offer. And I know that Talisha has put that in the chat, and we can put it in the chat again. It was a lifetime membership it was $500 lifetime membership, wasn't it?
Yes, our regular premium membership is $50 per month. And what I'm offering to the 10K community is, and I think it's nandilist.com/10K, is a one-time payment of $500, and you'll have a lifetime access to being a premium member. So, you know, even when we make the shift over to AI, our pricing is going to go up, but you'll be locked in as a lifetime premium member. Even when, you know, we do this huge push with all these celebrities and all this other stuff, you'll still be locked in as a premium member. So whether the prices go up, whatever shifts occurred, you'll be a lifetime member for that one-time $500 payment.
Nice. And Talisha did put that in the chat. So it's right there in the chat if you guys want to pull that. And thank you again for that generous offer. Ms. Patrice has a suggestion. So
always open.
Basically around the not keeping the stats for all members, from the freemium to the premium to the founding members. She suggests that you find a way to build some of those metrics in to the conversation so that you can see the progress that the members are having.
Yeah, we have that data more so for, like I said, our paid members, not our basic members, and it's not that we just don't care about the basic members by any means, but because of the fact that we provide an ROI guarantee, we're going to be focused on those folks who are paid members.
Paid member.
But we definitely appreciate that that feedback, and that's probably, matter of fact, I don't like to try to rely on my memory. I'm going to go ahead and just jot that down. But there may be a way that we can have some of the basic members self-report.
Mm-hmm.
That could be one of the things that they can do on their own to self-report when they do get clients, et cetera. Because what we do right now, like when a lead comes in, let's say someone says, hey, I want a Black woman massage therapist. They may click that lead button, then bing, bing, bing. That lead will go to either our premium membership or our founding 50 membership. The basic members don't get that. They don't get those leads that come in. So those are some of the things that we're able to track. So we'll look at to see how we can implement some type of self-reporting for the basic members. But I appreciate the suggestion. I definitely appreciate that suggestion.
Wonderful. And Jesse has a question. Says your exit strategy to sell for only 75. Was I think you said about 7. I think you threw some numbers out and you said 75 million. Mm-hmm. And so your exit strategy to sell for only 75 million seems low to Jesse, especially since you have no direct competitor for a premium directory of Black women who rock with creativity like no other group. Why not let the buyer take it to unicorn status?
Well, and that's a great question. That is a great question, and a part of it comes from the fact that in my old age, I'm looking at a couple of different things for me now, and I also want to say this. That's kind of how I envision this. Now, let's just say next year we're pulling in $20 million. That number changes significantly. That number absolutely positively changes significantly. So for me, it's about building this thing and allowing it to grow and flourish on its own. Right now my kids own 5% of the company each. So what we sell for, bam, 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 that goes to them. And then I go off and I go do this other thing. I go do this other thing. So yeah, but all that to say, I appreciate you saying that. I really and truly do appreciate you saying that. It's really going to look what is EBITDA looking like 5 years from now? Mm-hmm. What does that number look like 5 years from now for us to say, oh wow, we're doing 25 million a year. So yeah, we like to get $200 million, Microsoft. Yeah, let's do it. So yes, if that's where we are, for sure. But thank you for asking that question. For sure, yeah.
Very good. Any other questions for Antonio this evening? I'll just do a little recap. So we've been putting 2 links in the chat throughout the evening. The first link is for the consumer side of this, right? If you are a Black woman-owned business and you want to advertise and become a member of the directory, then that is nandislist.com /10K. I believe that's what that link is, and that's in the chat. But if you're interested in taking advantage of the investment opportunity that's being offered tonight, that is nandislist.com /10K invest. Both of those links are in the Zoom chat. We will also make sure that both of those links are in the Facebook Live chat as well, so that you guys can have these. In regards to the consumer discount, that's going to the end of the month, is what we agreed to last week, is that $500 lifetime membership amount was going to only be effective until the end of the month. And then the investment opportunity that Antonio has talked to us about this evening will go until he gets to his $150,000 goal, which hopefully for him is very, very soon.
That'll be,
because we
I'm sure, the first week of June. I have no doubt about that. Yeah,
yeah,
it's either
you
going to
may
be the first or
you may
second.
exceed that goal. I mean, you definitely may exceed it. You've already gotten 92 of that. You may exceed even your own expectation with that. So I hope you do.
Absolutely.
We've got a few more questions. Oh, Anonymous said, are you on track to meet the 150?
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, we know we'll hit that. No doubt. Like I said, either first or second week of June. I would imagine that probably in about 2 to 3 weeks, we should have that number for sure.
Very good. Ms. Patrice is asking, is the lifetime membership for me or my current business only? Ms. Patrice, what do you mean when you say for me? You mean if you have, oh, I know what you mean. So if you have a business today, can you also put, no, let me ask my question, let me ask your question a different way. If Ms. Patrice, because I think this came up last week, if Ms. Patrice does not have a business yet today, can she take advantage of the $500 lifetime membership and just not set up her page because maybe her business is not going to be coming for 3 months?
Yes,
I
absolutely.
think somebody asked the question last week.
Yeah, absolutely. And initially I was like, well, no, but I was thinking that there was going to be like a blank thing, right? Just this blank member. So the answer to your question is yes, absolutely. You can get the founding 50 membership. I'm sorry, the premium membership today. And whenever you start your business, whether it's next month or next year, we will honor that for sure.
Then you'll honor that.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
now Ms. Patrice has a kind of her actual question, because I think I changed her question. He says, no, what if she changes her business? So I'll give me as an example. I joined under the 10K project. If I also wanted to join under my second business, OEO Equity Partners, I would have had to buy a second membership for that business. Is that a correct statement?
Yes, that's a correct statement. Now, we are offering deep discounts if you want to get more than one membership for sure. Absolutely, we're open to that. So I would even go so far as to saying, we could even give it to you for half off if you want to get a second membership for sure. So if you had a second business, yes. And if you wanted to change your business at a later time, you can also do that as well. Yes.
Very good.
Yeah. And I forgot to mention this too. If you decide that you want to become an investor in Nandi's list, we're obviously this at the minimum of $500. If you want to become an investor in Nandi's list, I will gift you a premium membership, either for yourself or to gift to someone else. So I'll just throw that in. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I was just.
Wow, I didn't even ask for that perk. That's what's up.
So even if you're, Black man and you want to invest in Nandi's list, you can use that membership for someone else and just gift it to them. Say, hey, listen, I got you a membership at this directory for life.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Wow. Wow.
Well, if I can make it a no-brainer, I hopefully I that will. So.
Okay. That's a great deal. Okay. Eugenia said it's on and cracking. I know that's right, Eugenia. Vanessa, tell me what you were trying to say. And is there a limit? Is there a time frame to that? So in order to get that extra level perk, should they invest by a certain time?
Well, yeah. Well, I'm going to say you probably want to invest by the first or second week of June anyway, because I know we would have hit our numbers by then.
Okay, so you got about 2 weeks to make that happen to be able to.
Yeah.
So Vanessa, so Vanessa, that's for all of us. Yep. I feel like the emoji with your mouth open, like.
No, it's really just
Right
show
there,
my
love.
gratitude for being here. I mean, I'm so thankful, in a, such a place of gratitude that you and I met, and that you've, been gracious enough to bring us on to speak with your community. So, if I can, pour into your community, I will absolutely do so. So if that helps, for someone who might have been on the fence, like, you know what, boom, yeah, let's go. Yeah.
Or someone deciding, right? They may have only had 500 disposable income this month and deciding which one to put it in, right? The 30%,
Right.
or do I want to do the business? Like, so like you just saw, I know there were some people thinking that. I know there were, because I would have been.
Absolutely.
So I love that you solved that problem for them. Thank you so much. That really was, that was very, very gracious. And Miss Patrice is at, Miss Patrice don't play. She get, when Miss Patrice is my one member, she gonna get clarity, okay? She said, and that's the lifetime membership we get if we invest.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Lifetime premium membership.
Any other questions for Antonio, guys? I love this community, Antonio. If you did not know, I absolutely adore each and every one of them.
You've got some amazing people.
They are amazing.
Absolutely amazing. And I'll be here as a participant moving forward. So.
Okay, going once, going twice, guys. Any follow-up questions? You've got the invest page. Talisha put it there again. It'll be in the live stream as well if you forget to grab it. You saw how the document worked. I love how he made this process very, very simple. Read the document, the entire, right? I talk about doing due diligence, right? When we talk about different investment opportunities, this is no different. That document that you're going to be completing, if you're interested in investing, is going to give you the deal terms very clearly. It's going to talk about, or it's going to give you all the legal information that you need. And if you do invest, as Antonio said, you're going to get that. Once you fill it out and sign it, you will get a copy of that back emailed to you. It's sounds like it works kind of very much like DocuSign does, right? We're all kind of familiar with that. So you'll get that document back. You'll want to save it. Any other questions? Okay. This has been a wonderful evening. Antonio, thank you so very much. Thank you to your entire team. I see another question pop in. Oh, John said, how old is the directory?
We have two ages. We, as I mentioned, we started building the directory back in 2018. And I say that because that was when the idea came up, and I saw how difficult. I think my camera just went out, but you should still be able to hear me.
We can hear you.
This out. But we started this back in 2018, and we saw how difficult this was to do. I was thinking it was just going to be, let me just put some of these things together, and we're going to use some technology, to really build this database real quickly and get this thing launched. But like I said, AI just doesn't know what Black women look like. So we had to build these directories, and I would pull up the actual database itself, but we had to literally go through, is this a Black woman business? Okay, yes. So there's a lot of parsing of that data that we actually had to go through by hand. So the database was started back in 2018. We officially launched it this year. And that's why I say we launched with 100,000 members. And this is the thing that I don't typically tell a lot of people. We actually have a list of 466,000 Black women businesses. They're not all in the directory right now. They're in our database. Here's what I mean by that. So when we were putting all this stuff together, again, we had to go through and parse the data. Black woman business, this is what she does, this is where she is, blah, 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 put all that stuff in there. We wanted to just launch with all of them, but that would have pushed us back to probably 2025. So we said, well, what number is a good number to go with? We chose 100,000. We chose 100,000. So we launched with 100,000. We took the ones that we had parsed the data on, and put that in the actual directory itself. But in the database, we got 466,000 in that database. So that's why I said our goal is to be at about 500,000 by the end of the year. We still have to parse that data.
Right.
And that's a very manual process. Now we're implementing some AI in a way that I think might be able to speed the process up, but still has to be human verified. That's the thing, still has to be human verified. So I know, again, I tend to be a little bit verbose, but I like to over-explain rather than under-explain, just so you can understand the whole scope of things. So to answer your question, how old is it direct? We started in 2018. We officially launched it to the public in January.
Very good. Thank you for that. I think they're used to that. I'm kind of the same way. I give way too much information to Antonio. Ms. Patrice says, how do you keep the data updated?
Yeah, so another great question. Now, that is something that we are able to use AI for in various capacities. So like what we do is we have AI that can ping websites. So the website's no longer up. Those are some of the things that we can do. Now, we were looking at doing calls. We're not doing that. We just decided we're just not doing that. There's just way too much labor involved in that process. Now, what we have looked at doing is that we have and it's not a site, but we have a social component where we've got chat on the site. But when we launch our training, the idea of it is don't just put your listing up and just forget about Nandi's list and never come back. We want you logging in once a week. Why? Because we got new trainings coming up. We've got new events coming up. We got a lot of stuff that we're doing with this directory. That's why it's not just a directory. It's a movement. We got the live events that we're doing. So we want you coming back to the directory. And if you're coming back to the directory, the users keep the data updated. That's just what happens. The user will keep the data updated. We do have things in place that, someone doesn't log in for, I think it's 6 months, I think it was that they had a trigger for, but we haven't had that yet. But we have triggers that lets us know, someone doesn't log in and all those types of things, along with the pinging service that we do for everyone's websites who have websites listed or Facebook pages, et cetera, whatever's listed for that. That's what we're primarily using to identify if a business is still in business.
Very good. Thank you for that. My commitment is to stay till the last question is asked and answered, to remove any barriers of entry. So tonight's no different. What else y'all got? What else y'all got?
I'm here for it.
Other questions?
And I love this. And I was telling someone this the other day. I said, you know what? Whether you want money or not, you should pitch your business at least once a week, as if you were looking for investment money. Because when you reconnect to your mission and to your purpose, it just re-energizes you like, I am doing something amazing. So I love this. I love the questions and I love the interaction. So this is exciting for me, for sure.
Very good. All right, guys. Well, if you guys think of any additional questions, please let us know. But you have all the links. You hopefully have all the information. We did stream this live, so you can look at the replay in Facebook, or for those of you here with us in Zoom, you will get this email to you this evening so that you can watch the replay again if you had any follow-ups, you wanted to see if you missed anything. Again, just to clarify, the lifetime membership offer is out there till the end of the month if you only want to be a member. If you also want to invest, Antonio upped the game and said you get a free premium lifetime membership with that for free if you invest at least the $500 for the 30% ROI. So those are the two things for you to consider this evening. Tell everyone you know about Nandi's list. For the gentlemen who are thinking about investing, you'll get that lifetime membership. Start thinking about what woman in your life, what Black woman in your life you're going to gift that to, right? It could be a family member, it could be a friend of yours. That membership that you have may encourage someone to start the business they've been thinking about, but they have no idea how they would ever market it. And so you may be the solution to the problem that's been stopping them from moving forward. And so please know that, brothers, there's a place for you in this process. And while this directory only supports Black-owned female founders, we can't do this without your support. And so, please know that. Know that not because you can't list your business on this site, there's still a place for you standing beside us and standing in the gap as we are trying to build these successful businesses for our families and for your families and for our community. And so, we all win together. We're all in this together. And so I don't want you to feel excluded in any shape or form, because there's a place for you here, right by our side here. So you guys know I love you terribly. And we couldn't do this without you. And Nandi's List is going to also succeed with you supporting them and telling everybody you know about them. Every Black woman we know, business owner or not, right? Because you don't know who's got that seed planted in them that just hasn't bloomed yet. Right. We should be telling every Black woman we know, have you heard about Nandi's List, this place where you can support Black women businesses? Like, there's a whole directory. Like, I bet you people don't know. Talisha found Nandi's List. And thank you so much, Tishan. I had never heard of it. And so she made this connection. It's going to take us sharing it with everyone we know so that this can be, we wouldn't be asking how is it different from Angie's List, because it'll be bigger than Angie's List, right? If we start telling people about the success we're having in our own communities. And we have to get this word out. This has to absolutely be something we talk about. You guys should be talking about this tomorrow when you're in your circles with the people you care about, to let them know that this exists. We're all consumers of something. And right. Of all the businesses that are in this directory, I am sure there is something in there that we have probably bought this month or plan to buy this month. And we should be going there and looking there first before we spend our Black dollar anywhere else.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for saying that. One of the things that we do with our directory as well, we have a chat widget on our directory that's manned for the most part 24, maybe 23 hours a day. And when people can't find what they're looking for, it's like, hey, we're right there to help. For some reason, a woman, someone the other day couldn't find a photographer, and the support team was able to, hey, here's a photographer if you're looking for it. So again, our mission is to support Black women businesses in every way possible. Even if they just sign up for the basic membership, they're there. Just being there is a part of it, and that's where it starts. So as you're telling other people about it, then people start coming, and then the more people who are coming, the more business is done. Then the more business is done, the more we talk about it, then the more people who come, and it becomes this amazing thing that builds on itself. So and that's why I keep saying this is a movement. This is a movement. We're really trying to make a significant difference in a significant way. So whatever, if you got the socials, hey guys, go check this thing out. Hey, go check this thing out. We really would appreciate you for that, because again, we know what we're trying to do, and especially because again, Nandi's List is not just for the U.S. Nandi's List is international. We already got about 8 to 9% of our folks are in the UK. We've got some folks in South Africa as well. So we really want to be able to do this thing globally. You decide, hey, you know what? I want to go to Ghana and I'm looking for this, boom, you'll be able to, that will be right there at your fingertips. And keeping that money within our community, oh my gosh, forget about it. Yeah, it's just bonkers.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, I'm excited. I'm super excited. Anything else before, any final words from you, Antonio, before we say goodnight?
Well, again, I appreciate you and I appreciate your community at large. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for your questions. Thank you just for your presence. And again, thank you for allowing me to share this mission with all of you. So again, I'm just in this place of infinite gratitude to you all. And if there's any way I can support any of you, even outside of Nandi's list, please, I'm here to support. I'm absolutely here to be a resource. And anyway, just like the gentleman who said, well, hey, you know, can I sign up for the directory? No, but if you need some help with getting more clients for your business, hit me up. Please hit me up. I'm here to help in every way I can. So I'm just offering myself to your community. So that would be it for me.
Thank you so very much, and we appreciate that. Guys, thank you so much for showing up tonight. I know you're going to show out. You always do. So thank you in advance for that. We are on our way, guys. This has been one heck of a year already as we close out the first half of this year in the next few weeks. I am so proud of this community and what we have accomplished together. And know that the 10K project does not exist without you. And so I am forever grateful for you as community members. And the fact that you guys show up week after week after week and support Black founders. Thank you so very much. I love you all, and I will see you again next week. Good night.
Bye, everyone.
Good night, Antonio.